There really isn't much to say about this episode because quite literally nothing happens. Hello there beautiful friends, I'm Blackenfist, and since when did Dragon Ball Super turn into the Nothing Happens show? Virtually almost nothing is advanced in this episode. Goku, for some reason getting the urge to wish King Kai back to life, gathers the Dragon Balls so he can make his wish, but it turns out everyone else wants to make a wish. 18, Oolong, Master Roshi, Bulma, and they all have their reasons, as well as Pilaf, who unfortunately does not get his opportunity and is thwarted by everyone unknowingly, just the way Pilaf always is. Probably the best part of this episode. Bulma is secretly working on the time machine, but unfortunately she is able to get it up and running because she is missing certain things that are only found in the future. She's going to use the opportunity to use Shenron to fix this. I actually did like that by the end of the episode, Beerus kind of shuts down her whole operation since, you know, time travel is illegal for mortals, and if there's going to be a rule that is not enforced, it kind of is meaningless to have rules. So I'm glad that they actually stopped Bulma from doing this, because why have rules in the first place if they're not going to be followed? That, quite literally, the most relevant thing that happened in the entire episode, quite honestly, is Beerus destroying the time machine. That's quite literally all that has happened, and everything else is just antics and, quite honestly, a waste of time. Out of all the filler episodes in Dragon Ball Super, quote-unquote filler episodes, this has to be probably the worst one, because at the very least, the other filler episodes had a little funny antics, had interesting situations, and sometimes even some character development. This quite literally was just the waste your time show. Nothing much happened, and not to mention, certain things were said that I didn't take too fondly of. Gohan came over because Pan came down with a fever, and apparently medicine wasn't working on her, perhaps because of her Saiyan blood. It wasn't stated outright. I mean, Gohan was kind of saying maybe perhaps it's because of her Saiyan blood, but first of all, what about that heart medicine Goku received? That medicine worked. Okay, well, maybe Bulma tailored it specifically for Goku. Who knows? The point is, I mean, I felt that this was a very clearly convoluted, and I would have been fine with Gohan, honestly, bringing Pan down because she came down with a serious sickness, not just a fever, and they just wished it away. But they had to include that line. To me, it just seemed like a very convenient way to waste one wish, because obviously Shenron can grant more than one wish. We need one way to waste one. Oh, we're just gonna write this in. And Super has honestly been doing that pretty much since the beginning. It's been doing that consistently, and it got, I think, out of hand in the last arc. And at this point, my patience has been growing very short with this whole thing of making everything very convenient for the plot, and sometimes pulling something out of nowhere or making something very convoluted just so that we can write it the way we want to. Super has been abusing that since the beginning, and my patience is wearing thin with that, honestly. And another thing I really didn't like about this episode is that when Master Roshi fawned over all the peachy girls he was going to get, there was no blood. Instead, there was steam. I mean, come on, man. What weak sauce is that? We get no blood? After years of seeing Master Roshi nosebleed, we get steam instead? I feel like we've been ripped off here. All in all, this is probably the worst of all the filler episodes. Nothing much happened, so there's nothing much to say. Normally, I would probably say this episode is pretty neutral, meaning it's not bad or good, but I definitely think it leans on the bad side for the two reasons: the Pan fever thing and the fact that we get no blood with Master Roshi. So I think this is a slightly bad episode. I don't think it was too offensive. The most offensive thing it did was cramming in that whole line about Saiyans and medicine, but at least it didn't ruin a certain thing for the rest of the series like the Potara, like that one episode did. But whatever, that has been my review of this episode, and if you like these thoughts, then please subscribe to my channel because I'll be bringing you more videos like this one. Until next time, guys, I'm Blackenfist.